Welcome back. Let's talk some energy and energy sustainability. Ghana, as you may know, has an installed capacity of some 1,960 megawatts made up of hydro and thermal facilities. Electricity the demand continues to rise. It is currently at 1,400, which is growing at about 10% per annum. It is estimated that Ghana requires capacity additions of about 200 megawatts to catch up with the increasing demand in the medium to long term. This situation is not only reflective in Ghana, but cuts across the entire SAP region. Tonight, we'll quickly launch into a discussion on energy sustainability. And in the studio tonight, I have Dr. Heziba Igede. Thank you very much. And I have Dr. Satish Krishnamurthy. Sorry I murdered your names, but great to have you all here. As energy sustainability is a big deal across the continent, and Ghana's situation might be a small reflection of the entire continent, but nonetheless, let's start with you, Dr. Igede. When you look at the modules Ghana runs in the energy sector compared to the rest of the continent, what do you see as the key challenges that affect sustainability of energy in Ghana and across Africa?
Thank you very much for having us here in terms of for the program today. I think one of the major things to do with sustainability has to do with governance issues. So how do we effectively manage our resources? So whether the resources are oil and gas or renewable energy, what's the most effective way of managing resources? Because if the resources are not managed effectively, then there are difficult questions on how sustainable that would be for the end user, especially those within the grassroots. So one key area in terms of maybe developing or strengthening the quality of the modules that may be offered in the different institutions in Ghana would be to look at resource governance. Resource governance. Yes, resource governance. You
mentioned access, Dr. Krishnamurthy. Access. I mean, you are doing some program which involves improving access, getting energy to the poor and marginalized in our communities. Tell us about this program and the expected impact overall.
Yeah, I'm academician. Like both of us are academicians. So we always think that it should not be like a publication and perish. So we want the research to be socially oriented research that has direct benefit to society. The society has to feel the thing. Then only they will realize the importance. There are a lot of investments the government, industry are making, but it goes more to the rich, whereas the marginalized society seems to be marginalized all the time. So how we unlock this bridge? So that is very key for key aspects.
And how can that be done?
Yeah, how can that be happen? Like say for example, I'm a material scientist. I work on materials, creating new materials, creating batteries, creating solar cells. But if I work on publish and perish model, then the society will not realize. So that's why we formed a team. So I'm currently leading a team from India, Pakistan, Ghana and Tanzania to unlock this kind of initiatives. How do we unlock? We have a program where we will talk with the law and governance people, as she rightly mentioned, that there should be a policies and governance. But we are thinking beyond as well. Say for example, how we can create a local entrepreneurship for the needy people who can survive. If we bring energy access to them, energy brings empowerment, energy brings education, and energy brings lesser poverty. And also if you can create a business, say for example, you have a mobile phone, like many of us have more than 3 mobile phones. The batteries, where it goes. If they can do a recycling hub by earth abundant materials, if recycle, they can make a small scale business out of that. How can we create that? So in order to do that, we will need to bring social scientists who knows how it can go. And we need to bring NGOs in the picture. So NGOs who directly interact with product delivery. So we are forming a team.
So this is the kind of engagements you have been having with the government of Ghana. Yep. Does it look positive? Does it look like there is commitment from government agencies towards ensuring that energy gets to the grassroots?
Yeah, because this is my first visit to Ghana.
You're welcome, though.
Oh, I love the people. They always smile. Okay, so we have some interactions with Ministry of Energy, and they were very positive. We were expecting for a 10-minute meeting or something, and it has gone to more than an hour. So their commitment was very serious. And they talk about governance, they talk about policies, they talk about how research and others can go into the society
To make sure
the investments which they need beyond the sustainability.
Dr. Egede, you mentioned the issue of governance, and over across Africa, we've had a lot of over-reliance on hydro, and now we're switching, alternating between hydro, thermal, and the other options, solar energy, he mentioned. But looking at the entire picture, what do you think should be the approach we should all be thinking about if we were to make energy accessible to everyone, like Dr. Krishna Murthy talks about?
I think the focus really should be energy security. And when we talk about energy security, we're looking at affordable, accessible energy, but also not to the detriment of our environment. So if we have a very diverse mix of energy resources, so I know Ghana right now is an emerging oil and gas economy, and that's very useful. So oil and gas is not really going away for that long, especially in terms of our gas reserves. But that should be complemented by alternative energy resources, and that's what our project is looking at. So things to do with solar energy, wind energy is another untapped place that Ghana also obviously could look at. And then also biomass opportunities. So biomass opportunities are very useful. So what I would suggest for Ghana and other sub-Saharan African countries is just to have that diverse energy mix. So I know sometimes with countries like Ghana, Nigeria, which is a more matured oil and gas basin, there's always that concern that maybe we should just dispose of oil and gas exploitation, but I wouldn't recommend that.
That doesn't come easy also.
No, that
comes
doesn't,
at a
no,
huge cost.
Yes, that doesn't come easy, and you've got still lots of natural gas reserves. So that would still be very useful in terms of ensuring that we have that affordable, accessible energy. But then, of course, complementing that with renewable energy resources, and that's what this project is looking at, especially from the context of solar energy. But as my colleague has mentioned, the beauty about this project is that it's sort of a cross-discipline project. So we're looking at different sources of knowledge, so the legal knowledge, the scientific knowledge, the social science knowledge, and hoping that all that will come together to achieve that goal of affordable, accessible energy, but at the same time ensuring that there's quite a bit of environmental protection.
All right, Dr. Egede, we're grateful. Dr. Krishna Murthy, thank you very much for coming. This is Still News at 10. I'm Stephen Enti. We're broadcasting live from the News Hub at Adisawe, Kanda. Let's move on to some other stories. Heavy-duty equipment belonging to the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to be used for rescue and clearing operations in the event of a disaster have broken down and are lying idle at NADMO headquarters. The development is hampering NADMO's operations, causing the organization to ration the use of the few excavators on first-come, first-served basis.